You wake up, put on your Ray-Ban Meta glasses. You're living all in. You realize you need coffee. So you say,
"Hey, Meta, how do I make a latte?"
Brew 2 shots of espresso.
After Meta AI gets you caffeinated, you're ready for some beats.
"Hey, Meta, play hip-hop music."
You head to meet some friends, but can't remember the place.
"Hey, Meta, call Eva."
Ray-Ban Meta glasses, the next generation of AI glasses. Just say, "Hey, Meta," to harness the power of Meta AI. Shop now at meta.com/smartglasses.
Upgrade your holiday entertainment with the Vizio 5.1 soundbar, now just $198 on Amazon. Enjoy immersive audio with 3 full-range speakers, 2 surround speakers, and a wireless subwoofer. Plus, with Dolby Atmos, you'll experience sound that flows all around you. Listen to your favorite holiday songs on North Pole Radio with iHeartRadio in no time, thanks to Vizio's easiest setup ever. Whether it's a gift for someone special or an upgrade for yourself, the Vizio 5.1 soundbar makes the season sound spectacular. Get yours for $198 on Amazon today.
Deciding on what to listen to is hard. Using Zumo to stream music from iHeart 90s Radio is easy. Or play iHeart Country or Hip Hop Beats. Your choice, all for free. Stream easy with Zumo Play. Get live and on-demand entertainment with no logins, no signups, no accounts, no hassle. This December, get cozy on the couch with Charlie's Angels starring Drew Barrymore, Lucy Liu, Cameron Diaz, and Looper starring Bruce Willis and Emily Blunt. All streaming free on Zumo Play. Go to play.zumo.com now. Life is hard. Zumo is easy.
Of Christmas my Vikings gave to me a year the mission is Mardi Gras. On the second day of Christmas my Vikings gave to me 2 times we smacked the Bears, and a year the mission is Mardi Gras. On the third day of Christmas our Vikings gave to us 3 sacks for Cashman, 2 times we smacked the Bears, and a year doing the gritty in the Crescent City. On the 4th day of Christmas, our Vikings gave to us 4 games from Parker Romo, 3 sacks for cash money, 2 times we smacked the Bears, and a year doing the gritty in the Crescent City. Aw, yeah. On the 5th day of Christmas, our Vikings gave to us high fives for O'Connell. 4 games from Parker Romo, 3 sacks for Cashy, 2 times we smacked the Bears, and a rookie kicker who's unbelievable. The Alabama kid just never misses. On the 6th day of Christmas, my Vikings gave to me 6 picks for Beamer,
5 rushing TDs for Aaron Jones. It's showtime.
Showtime. 4 games from Parker Romo, 3 sacks for Cashman, 2 times we smacked the Bears, and a year the mission is Mardi Gras. On the 7th day of Christmas, our Vikings gave to us 7 sacks for Pat Jones, 6 picks for Beamer, high fives for O'Connell.
Let's extend him.
4 games from Parker Romo, 3 sacks for Cashman, 2 times we smacked them Bears, and a year the mission is Mardi Gras. I like this one. On the 8th day of Christmas, my Vikings gave to me 8 straight wins and counting, 7 sacks for Pat Jones, 6 picks for Beamer,
5 rushing TDs for AJ.
4 games from Parker Romo, 3 sacks for Cashman, 2 times we smacked those Bears, and a year doing the gritty in the Crescent City. On the 9th day of Christmas, our Vikings gave to us 9 one-score games, 8 straight wins and counting, 7 sacks for Pat Jones, 6 picks for Beamer, high fives for O'Connell.
Coach of the year.
4 games from Parker Romo, 3 sacks for Cashman, 2 times we smacked the Bears, and a rookie kicker everybody loves. On the 10th day of Christmas, my Vikings gave to me 10 TDs for JJ, 9 one-score games, 8 straight wins and counting, 7 sacks for Pat Jones, 6 picks for Beamer,
5 rushing scores for Jonesy. Showtime.
4 games from Parker Romo, 3 sacks for Cash Money, 2 times we smack Wobbles Bears, and a year the mission is Mardi Gras. On the 11th day of Christmas, my Vikings gave to me 11 Van Ginkel sacks, 10 TDs for JJ, 9 one-score games, 8 straight wins and counting, 7 sacks for Pat Jones, 6 picks for Beamer, high fives for O'Connell.
TCO Tuesdays.
4 games from Parker Romo, 3 sacks for Cashman, 2 times we smacked the Bears, and a rookie kicker. Let's just give him a 10-year extension. I mean, he hit a super long extra point. On the 12th day of Christmas, my Vikings gave to me 12 Lions done for the season, 11 Van Ginkel sacks, 10 TDs for JJ, 9 one-score games, 8 straight wins and counting, 7 sacks for Pat Jones, 6 picks for Beamer,
5 rushing TDs for Aaron Jones. We love you, AJ.
4 games from Parker Romo, 3 sacks for Cashy, 2 times we smacked the Bears, and maybe this is a year the mission is Mardi Gras.
At Christmas, I'd like the worst game of Josh Jacobs' season. and maybe that plays into that comfortable win you're talking about, but I want to see what it looks like when they honestly can't run. And last night, Jacobs, they were easy to just do a comfy little 17, 18 touch game for him. He gets his touchdown of the week, and then he just goes and sits down. And now it's manual, and we're getting way down the depth chart. Of backup running backs for the Pack.
We got some Brooks in there scoring a touchdown. Fantasy football buster, though.
It was a touchdown for everybody last night, but I want to see when LaFleur can't impose his will. There's an impressive part of what LaFleur has been doing with this team, but I think it really starts and stops with their ability to grind defenses into dust with Josh Jacobs. So I'm on it with you in terms of a comfortable win, but I do need to see, as part of this border battle, which is going to be a blast on Sunday. How cool is this at 3:25? It's going to be amazing. But I want to see the Packers have to abandon the most consistent part of their offense. So that's for me. If there was a 14th day of Christmas, let's put Josh Jacobs on his worst day of the season.
And having Ivan Pace back, and that's at least the assumption. Kevin O'Connell joins 9 to noon at 11 o'clock.
That's right. He opened his practice window, right? So he's in the mix this week.
Yes, and we will ask him about Ivan and the run defense. That's 11 o'clock with KO. Trying to win 9 in a row, 4 KO. 9 in a row, 4 KO. Okay, 3-2. High fives for KO. But speaking of, if there was a 14th day of Christmas in that song, Josh Jacobs, and maybe a bunk game, my man has 14 touchdowns this year, and they all have taken place after the Vikings game. So, like, when we left Lambeau Field, they just think Darnold here, okay? So there were some kinks through which you needed to work. And like middle-ish of the season, we had that Jacksonville game. Then it got better against Tennessee. Then it got better at Soldier Field. And now, now it's hitting and sticking. It's lights out right now. Josh Jacobs for them, you could just tell through the first month of the season they were trying to figure out exactly what we can do with this beef eater, because he's kind of fast, but he ain't super fast. But there are things that we can do with him. He has 14 touchdowns from weeks 5 on. Yeah. And he had one last night. Now, if there was a 15th day of Christmas our Vikings could give to us, how about another Philadelphia Eagles loss? And here's why. So they lose to Washington, all right? Now they get Dallas. Dallas is on a little bit of a heater right now. If Philadelphia can lose to Dallas, yes, it'll still be a playoff team with a zillion wins. But that could be covenant fracturing stuff for the fragile nature that makes up the Philadelphia Eagles. I mean, it's fragility central in that locker room at certain times of the season. If they could lose again, I mean, that sucker might get fractured, and then they just might become a non-factor in the postseason, and that would be getting cold at the most wonderful time of the year, the postseason. So, if it was on the 15th day of Christmas, our Vikings gave to us another Philly Eagles loss, I'd be cool with that. You got anything else?
Ooh, on the 16th day of Christmas, my Vikings gave to me 16 games with turnovers. How about that? The 16th, how about on the 16th day, if there was a 16th day of Christmas? Yeah. And I don't know, ultimately, I don't have it in front of me what the historical lore is in terms of consecutive games with the defense taking one away. I believe the 15 is actually the most since Flores was head man in the Dolphins defense in 2020. Every game this season, the Vikings have given to us, and given specifically to our offense, an extra possession. Yeah. Or they've given a game-sealing, game-ending play. Cam Bynum and Joshua Metellus have given us so many times this year some unique, super viral celebration in the end zone, all part of the culture and the fun of this 2024 season. 5 in a row to start the year, 5 bad days with the Kitties and the Rams, and now 8 in a row for KO, B-Flow, and Serpo. Each of those games has been a takeaway that mattered. Yeah. And this is an opportunity, whether somebody gets a little loose with the ball and we get a little fumble rumble, let's go. Blake Cashman drops that easy pick against Seattle. Is he in the mix for a little redemption this week? But some sort of interception, flustering and frustrating. If you put Josh Jacobs on a bad game, you get Jordan Love throwing off his back foot like we've seen him do a few times. That might be falling into the hands of one of our guys. So if it was the 16th day of Christmas, 16 games with takeaways, that's what I would love if there was a 16th day.
And if there was a 17th day of Christmas, our True Love football team provided us a return for Ivan Pace Jr.
Oh, yeah.
Ivan Pace Jr. with Cash Money and Andrew Van Ginkel and Jonathan Grenard by their side.
That's an oh my.
Ivan Pace Jr. for the rest of the journey would be sweet to be an oh my. Run defense, though, it Having Ivan Pace Jr. back, specifically from a blitzing and run defense standpoint, it's like making a list and checking it twice, finding out who's naughty, and we know Ivan Pace Jr. is nice.
On the 18th day of Christmas, my Vikings gave to me.
Hey.
Well, the NFL. Either a Falcons win or a Bucs loss.
Mm-hmm.
Either Penix figures out how to win one at the Commanders this weekend. That's stretching it a bit. Or Adam Thielen catches a clutch TD for the Panthers down in Tampa.
AT19.
Now, Vikings fans, this Christmas season, we certainly have the number 1 seed on the mind. But if there is a chance, the Detroit Lions have a say in this too. We know that.
Yeah.
If the 1 seed was no longer an option and we have to travel Wild Card weekend to handle business in January, I have 2 choices. I could choose the Atlanta Falcons and I could choose rookie Michael Penix Jr. Or I could choose Tampa and Raymond James, and I could choose Mike Evans from Baker Mayfield and Bucky Irving. I'm choosing Atlanta every single time. So if I can at least get through this week, kids opening the presents, celebrating into the weekend, border battle, 129 or whatever it is this Sunday afternoon, and I'm doing Fan Line with Ron, and we're celebrating a 14th victory, at least into next week as it's the showdown at Ford Field, if I can still have the idea in my mind that worst case scenario, Brian Flores gets to scheme for Michael Penix Jr., ooh, that would be a beautiful 18th day of Christmas for me.
And finally, if we were able to craft, if like the song went this deep, on the 19th day of Christmas, our Vikings gave to me, it'd be the 1 seed. I mean, I know it's low-hanging fruit, but Vikings fans, it's time to jettison the fear. And I'm preaching to myself right now. It's time to jettison the fear of being a 1 seed and having lofty expectations. And I'm not flyover country cornfields guy, because it's not like it hasn't happened before where the Vikings have lofty expectations in or into the postseason. But 19th day of Christmas, my Vikings gave to me a 1 seed for all time. It'd be chill time. It'd be rest and recovery for these football players.
So are you opening your own heart now? Or has it been open and now it's...
I'm starting to think about it, because...
I'm starting to think about it a little bit, too.
It's in the conversations via either just conversations like people talking or social media or emails or texting or whatever.
Yeah.
It's Vikings fans. They're like I was doing some shopping, some grocery shopping yesterday to get ready for Christmas. And I'll see people in the grocery store, and they're starting to reluctantly come out of the shell a little bit and be like, "Do you think this is it? I've loved these Queens for 53 of the 63 years. Alan, you think this is it? And like, what's it? What do you mean? Like contraction after this year or something? No, the Super Bowl." Or they won't even say the words.
Right.
No,
Superdome.
Yeah, right. The big game.
The big game.
The final one. The one in February. You think this is it? And so I guess I've started to think about it a little bit.
Have you ever had somebody just yell at you? I don't know where you grocery shop, but like from across the produce section, "How about them Queens?"
Generally when they're losing, and the person, who I generally don't know, is a fan of another team. So they just kind of want to start your day with, "Hey, Alan, how about them Queens?" And I'm like, man, you're testing my faith right now, so I'm just going to turn the other cheek and go up and do 9 to noon.
Well, you said 11-6, PA.
Yeah.
What happened?
Yeah.
You've gotten that, I bet, a couple of times over the years.
Ain't no doubt about that. And speaking of 9 to noon,
we're the 1 seed. How about that?
We are live and local. We are at Twin Cities Orthopedics Performance Center, doing 9 to noon today with Kevin O'Connell joining at 11 o'clock. We had the option to not work today, but we like being here. We like talking about this team, and we really enjoy that 25 to 30 minutes we get with Kevin O'Connell each and every Tuesday. Very cool that he opens as much time as he does, and we have what we think is a cool conversation crafted for 11 o'clock where we will drop a talk back for the coach. Talk back Tuesday, though.
Yep.
So go to the free iHeartRadio app and offer up a talk back for head coach Kevin O'Connell, and Norda will choose one, and we will drop it in there somewhere between 11 and 11:30. Ben Gessling from the Star Tribune joins On Air, Onside, On Demand, and On Fire at about 10 o'clock, and Lavelle Neal III, columnist for the Star Tribune. He's with us around the corner. You're listening to 9 to Noon, a radio show, the Great Love the Great Ship Love Covenant is guided by Kara Savage today at FM 100.3 KFAN and the 651 Carpets Plus Studios. Nordo produces on site, and I'm Paul Allen. Merry Christmas, everybody, and thank you for listening to KFAN.
Head over to NFLShop.com for the largest collection of officially licensed gear from all your favorite brands. NFL Shop is your ultimate gifting destination for jerseys, t-shirts, headwear, and more. Take your game day style to the next level with the best selection of NFL gear anywhere. Show off your team pride this holiday season with styles fit for the whole family. To shop now, go to NFLShop.com.
As we fade the music and fire up 9 to Noon. This is courtesy of Valerie's Barbecue and a Bar, home of free parking and wild shuttles. Lavelle joins us now, a man of many talents, specifically when it comes to analyzing sports. And he watched a little of everything last night, I would imagine, including the Minnesota Wild beating your beloved Chicago Blackhawks in spine-tingling fashion. Thank you, Alleries. And did the Wild beating your beloved Hawks make you sad? And good morning.
Not really. First of all, yesterday is a situation I call SOS, which is sports overstimulation. Trying to watch the Blackhawks and the Wild, trying to watch the Wolves and the Hawks. Somehow, I looked up at the beginning of the fourth quarter. It was like a 3-point game. The next thing I know, it's 15. I'm like, okay, what happened there? And then third, had the hated Packers on. So, I'm trying to spin 3 plates here, trying to keep up with all the bits. But, I watched a good chunk of the Wild game. I've never seen Connor Bedard talk trash before, but he did during the game yesterday, which was a shocker to me. He also scored a goal. Wild had a couple of really nice goals. Spurgeon's goal was great. I don't think the goalie ever saw the puck. And of course, Kaprizov. So, you take them anyway. When you're on a little bit of a losing streak, you take wins any way you can get them and just move forward. And that's what the Wild should do after last night's game against the Chicago Blackhawks.
Yeah, and that's what PA and I were talking about yesterday is just how much a win, even against, it's in some ways you wouldn't have been surprised given what you've seen. And I had laid it out for PA, but losing 5 of their last 6, and they had been outscored, I think 23-6, I believe, in those 5 losses. And it's like just scratching and clawing. It's something to be positive about, right? And Eriksson Ek still not ready to come back. And, everything is a 50-50 in terms of the health situation with all these players. But you get Gustafsson back in the mix, which is sweet. And Wallstedt, the ups and downs that he's had. I mean, we're happy that he was here and provided some service. It was a close win against Vegas. Was not close the other night against Winnipeg.
No.
But just even in a 4-3, even against the Blackhawks who are still trying to make their way back, to claw out those 2 points one way or a freaking another meant everything last night for that hockey team, man, just to stem the tide a bit.
Remember at the beginning of the year, there was this crazy rumor about how Kaprizov may want to go to Chicago to play with Bedard. The new rumor should be that Bedard wants to come to Minnesota to play with Kaprizov, don't you think?
We'd take him.
I bet you would. It's been a great, fortunately for the Wild, is that they got off to such a strong start. They had a little bit of a cushion to play with. I know people have just talked about, I wish they could have like a marquee victory or a noteworthy win over a contending team. But they're not full strength right now. They're still trying to, get their legs back under them after being waylaid with a lot of injuries. And it's probably going to take time to come out on the other side of that stuff. So it's coming. I think the Wild are going to still have levels to them, and I think it's coming. It's just been a grind, man. Just can't wait for the 2025 calendar to turn here, and hopefully to get a better run of health and can find their high level of play.
Your 13-win Minnesota Vikings get Green Bay this weekend, and in your channel surfing last evening, we found it difficult to really. Well, the game against the Saints was awful. Okay, Packers-Saints was awful. Only shutout the NFL's had this year.
How about that?
But it was tough to really get a feel for what Green Bay wants to do in certain third down situations and certain third down situations for the Saints offense. How frequently do they blitz? Is the Rashawn Gary hand in the grass thing? Is that still a thing for this new Jeff Hafley defense? But the game got out of hand so quickly, and then it was like, let's just get out of here alive and not get our best players hurt. Then all the backups were in.
Yeah.
It's a tough game to analyze and watch.
It was. The Packers are just a tough team to figure out in general about what makes them tick. They've got a good running back in Jacobs. I saw a stat last week saying that the top 2 wide receivers in touchdown passes from the 2022 draft are 1, Romeo Doubs with 15, and 2, Christian Watson with 14. So you don't know who's coming at what time to bite you with that squad.
Yeah.
Now, in essence, the running game is a great foundation for them to play off of. But in terms of who do you shut down other than Jacobs, it's a little tricky determining that. I want to see pressure on Love because I think he still gets too happy throwing off his back foot, and sometimes he likes to do the mid-air Ethan Hunt. I'm going to do some aerial madness here and throw the ball 40 yards down the field.
Yeah, not lately though.
I know. Well, hopefully we can get back to that this weekend. Oh, I have a nitpick.
Oh, he did
here.
that a few times last night, and they were all incomplete. But they weren't interceptable. So, like, when the Vikings were at Lambeau, he started picking on Byron Murphy Jr., and it was working. Probably completed 4 or 5 right in front of Murphy. It was a very frustrating situation as Green Bay was charging at the Vikings who were leading 28-0, and then Green Bay was cutting into the margin. Well, Jordan got too greedy, and he did exactly what you were talking about, the back foot, Ethan Hawke, just do whatever you want and like it's going to work. Well, Murphy intercepted it. He threw up a Kyler Murray punt, and Murphy Jr. picked him off. So he'll still do that, but now when I watch him, he's doing it in a way where it's either going to be his guy catching it
or no one,
or it's an intercept, or it's an incomplete pass.
I hear what you're saying. Here, I see that with him too, and it stinks that he's actually evolving.
Yeah, he's talented.
The one thing I want to see this weekend, I want to see the Vikings punch Green Bay in the mouth early. And put them on their back foot and see how they respond to that. Playing a little catch up, dealing with a little adversity. I hope that the Vikings can dish it out this weekend against the hated.
Well, kind of playing off of PA's point, though, the way that the Vikings started the season and the evolution of Sam Darnold through this thing now, where his fourth quarters have been so fantastic at times. When he absolutely needs that touchdown, when you need that field goal drive, Sam's got it locked in. But earlier in the season, you're breaking out 28-point leads on people, and really everything was neatly in hand at Lambeau week 4 until the Jalen Naylor muffed punt, and Love, who was just returning from injury with that bulky knee, he rolls out there. I don't have in front of me. It felt like he threw for about 350 in the second half alone as they got after us and made that thing a heck of a lot more interesting than it needed to be. But still, even matching up our guys versus their guys. Josh Jacobs, PA hit on it. Most, if not all, of his touchdowns have actually taken place post week 4. So in some ways, everything about what we knew about them from Lambeau is completely different too, which kind of makes this I mean, this is a badass border battle, Lavelle.
It is. It's one of the better ones. I got to go back in history and see how much has been on the line for these games in the past and how that has gone and who has been victorious. Because it's going to be fascinating viewing this weekend at U.S. Bank Stadium. Packed crazy house, Packer invaders in the stadium, interlopers, whatever you want to call them. It's going to be awesome, man. And it's great when you have so much on the line late in the season. And the Vikings are in such an incredible season. And we shouldn't be getting too wound up about what's going to happen with Sam Darnold after this year. Just enjoy this moment now, man.
Right.
13 victories.
It's slow.
And where can it go? You know, the amazing part, where this is headed, because things have fallen into place for this squad. What happened on Sunday? And I said, man, that's another great development for the Vikings. Oh, the Eagles. Washington coming back.
Yeah.
After Philly, I saw the.
Well, Hurts went down, then Pickett got hurt.
Yep. I get that.
Is that your phone, Lavelle? I mean, we got. This is an unbelievable morning.
What just happened? Are you on hold with somebody?
No, I didn't know that. Well, when I was driving over here, I was listening to the Chicago sports radio station on the Odyssey app.
Yeah.
And I guess when I picked up the phone, I activated it, so it came on. And the ironic, do you know who that was talking?
Molly.
It was Courtney Cronin.
Oh, it is?
Yeah. So, sorry about that. I'm just adding on to the mess.
Never heard of Odyssey, by the way, because it being in the iHeart family, of course, the iHeart Radio app handles all of my radio
quick to interject
needs.
that. I get that.
Yeah, me too. Speaking of Courtney Cronin, former Vikings beat writer, frequent contributor to 9 to Noon, she splashed over the weekend. I mean, it was Ben Johnson is the number 1 candidate of the Chicago Bears to become their next coach. And maybe I needed to read it more closely. I don't know if there was any sourcing for some background here, but my question would be, cool, makes sense. Are the Chicago Bears Ben Johnson's number one choice if he wants to become a head coach next year. What do you think of that?
Well, I mean, that's been the talk the last couple of days that Johnson's let it be known that he's only going to interview for jobs in which he's definitely would accept a job offer, which is weird.
Why?
But I guess, the Bears are on that list of squads he would like to interview with. So I expect it to happen.
So do I.
The thing is, Paul, last time we went through this, it was done such ham-handedly because Ryan Poles had just been hired as GM, and 3 days later, he's hiring Eberflus as a head coach. 3-day search, man. And plus, before he was hired, they were interviewing candidates. They interviewed Dan Quinn, interviewed Jim Caldwell, without the GM in place. So it's just been weird. And now...
Well, Poles went Childress on it in that first press conference. I can't remember exactly what he said.
We're going to take the North and never give it back.
And never give it back.
Yes.
Which harkens to 06 when Childress said, we're going to win we're going to land ashore and we're burning our boats.
That's right.
And it was with winning the division and owning the division. So we're going to get to division winning island. And we're burning our boats because we're not leaving. I mean, I can't believe you didn't remember that because you teased me about that for 4 years.
Yeah. We've had a bad habit of someone getting hired and making some statement that comes back to bite them. Lovie Smith, we will beat the Packers every year. Things like that. So it's been crazy. And on the opposite end of the spectrum, Kwesi gets hired as GM here. He takes 3 weeks and hires Kevin O'Connell. Rest is history. So I just want a thorough process. I want as many people brought in as possible.
I was kind of shocked by the lack of thorough nature of the process once Poles came in. You laid it out last week with me where it was a couple, Ron Rivera, I think, was one of them. You mentioned those names, and you're thinking to yourself, like, Kevin O'Connell's right out there. It's a little bit of revisionist history.
The Bears never talked to him.
No, never even talked to him, never gave him the time of day. And I was just kind of surprised by that. And maybe, would you think that they would be more thorough this time, whether or not Ben Johnson is indeed their number one candidate?
Absolutely. And the thing is that Ben Johnson looks like he's a great offensive mind. The stumble-bumble play that he came up with Sunday, I don't know if you saw, they actually had a play where Goff stumbled. Pretended to stumble.
Yep.
Jahmyr Gibbs pretended there was a fumble, so he dove on the ground. So it draws eyes to the backfield. Meanwhile, Laporta is sneaking down the sideline.
And Jonathan Owens just had no shot at that. And the intel is, PA mentioned yesterday that they may have pulled that from a Jordan Love Packers play in which they actually did stumble. And it was against your Bears, Lavelle.
In September of 2023. So Ben Johnson's back looking at Bears defense in September 2023. I mean, it doesn't surprise me because they uncover everything and unearth everything trying to win games. But he sees Love stumble and fumble. So like the first inclination to Goff was, Johnson's like, from what I read, are you comfortable fumbling? and he was, no, I'm not fumbling. Well, then Ben's like, well, let's do it this way. So, I mean, like, what next? Fumble Rooski, Statue of Liberty, the hook and lateral. I mean, the stumble bum hasn't been fresh since 55. What the hell are we doing?
I know. And yesterday, they ran the plays back to back, side by side, and the placement was perfect. I mean, Love's positioning and Goff's positioning on the field where it's about the exact same place. Love actually fumbled his ball and got it back. Goff was like, I can't go there. And it worked out. It's just, that's the way it is. That's the way the season's been going, man. That Hail Mary has just changed the Chicago Bears season, man. Ever since that game, they cannot get out of their own way, and it's been a mitigated disaster. I just want Ben Johnson knows offense. Can he lead a locker room? Can he combine offense and defense and special teams?
Yeah.
What type of staff can he put together? Can we have Robert Saleh as a defensive coordinator? Those are the things I want to see flushed out here during the process. And who else would have him? How many connections does Johnson have around the league? Does he know a lot of people to put together a kick-ass staff? Because that's what the Bears need right now.
Well, one just kind of adding on in that conversation and kind of shifting it back to the Lions specifically with Ben Johnson. I am kind of intrigued by what happens when Ben Johnson leaves. Let's say he goes to the Bears. He'll have other potential opportunities, but let's just say he's a head coach somewhere. How things change with Campbell's bunch. And we've seen it a couple of times. We've used with Kirk Cousins here in Minnesota. How many different people did he have over his 6 seasons here jumping in his ear and developing the offense? Now, 2018 with DiFilippo, that was an unmitigated disaster for multiple reasons, and there's a reason that he's...
Oh, wait, I'm sorry. I turned my phone over like Lavelle and it accidentally came on. Hold on. It's my private Vikings file. Hold on. I'll fix this thing. There we go. I'm sorry, guys. Go ahead. My bad.
I just wonder what changes for the Lions if Ben Johnson becomes a head coach. Where we saw it, where good times with Stefanski. Now Kevin O'Connell comes in, leads the ship as an offensive minded head coach. But how that could change the mix? Very talented group, but we know how things can change year to year when you put a new voice in that headset.
Yeah. What about Aaron Glenn? He's going to probably get a couple of job interviews as well. What if he rolls and he have to replace 2 coordinators? Look, Glenn.
What's weird though is he was almost fired a couple of years ago, Lavelle, and part of it was injuries, but they had one of the worst defenses in the NFL. They've certainly replenished that crop. Terrific work in free agency, and now everybody's hurt. I get that, but Terry and Arnold has a chance to be great. Is it Jack Campbell? I forget the linebacker's name. But then Aiden, of course, and what they've done to kind of work around him. Aleem McNeil is an atopic example. But Aaron Glenn was on the verge of getting fired, and now like 2.5 years later,
he's a rock star.
He might be getting a head coaching job.
Look, he's had 12 different linebackers to deal with. He has started 8 different linebackers this year, and then you mentioned losing Aiden Hutchinson as well.
Yeah.
That's a massive loss for the pass rush, and actually that may bite him in the postseason, lack of pass rush.
Who are the great, and we've talked about this 9 to noon before, but it's like the Jelani Tavais and some of the linebackers that they've had. I mean, you got to go back to like Rick Spielman's brother to figure out the last time they had good linebackers with the Detroit Lions. It's unbelievable.
It hasn't been pretty, but he's kind of held things together. And I think that's going to help his cause in the offseason when some jobs come up. So, Campbell may have to replace 2 coordinators.
Will you turn your phone off? Stop playing all these Vikings-themed songs you keep dropping on Christmas Eve.
My goodness.
What's this one? Wait, that sounds like Tammy Terrell.
Ain't No Mountain Higher.
Is she with Marvin Gaye?
Oh, now I got to cut this out of the podcast.
No, I'll only play 18 seconds.
Damn it.
Ooh, yeah. Yada. Ain't no mountain high enough for your Minnesota Vikings. Happy to have Lavelle Neal III, columnist for the Star Tribune, with yours truly, Paul Allen, Nordo producing on site. It's 9:43. Kevin O'Connell joins 1 hour and 17 minutes from now. And this radio show is provided by Sukup and Sukup.com. We'll be right back.
Head over to NFLshop.com for the largest collection of officially licensed gear from all your favorite brands. NFL Shop is your ultimate gifting destination for jerseys, t-shirts, headwear, and more. Take your game day style to the next level with the best selection of NFL gear anywhere. Show off your team pride this holiday season with styles fit for the whole family. To shop now, go to NFLshop.com.
He won't retire. He's old.
Lost again last night. The Wolves right now, man. I mean, it's what do you think of it? What do you think of Julius Randle? What do you think of losing to the Hawks? Trae Young came back. He was out for a little while. He came back last night, and he just absolutely zapped us. And good morning.
Anthony Edwards is saying the same thing over and over again about we're not together. We're not playing well together. We're not talking to each other. He said that 3 or 4 times already this season. We're not even at the halfway point.
Do you think it's because he can't say, I can't stand playing with a certain player that's on the court right now? So he's taking that route instead?
I think for this to be fixed, Julius Randle and Anthony Edwards have to figure out how to play together.
Yeah.
They've got to figure out a more cohesive way of playing off each other, playing with each other. Julius likes to considered himself to be a little bit of a playmaker, but the turnover suggests that he should not be doing that as much. Ant at the beginning of the season was in love with his newly improved 3-point shot, which I'm glad he has in his toolbox. But to me, Ant is an Ant when he's attacking the rim and creating havoc there. So, Jay McDaniels, it looks like he's having a little more success from the perimeter with his jumper, and that's a good thing to see. It's not coming together. Do these guys need to go to a bar and have a team meeting? I'm trying to figure out what's happening with this bid here because it's not cohesive.
Could they do it at Allery's if they were?
Absolutely, it could.
If they want to go to a Wild game, they can get there at no charge.
The price in the Allery shuttle over to Target Center and pick up the team and just take them over there.
I mentioned this a little bit yesterday, but see, they're whether it's personal or professional to a certain extent for teams, people, all that, businesses, all that kind of stuff. When you're having turmoil, there generally needs to be a bottom before you can start ascending. And the thing is I just don't think the bottom of whatever is happening has been identified, but perhaps it has. After the Golden State game, when Anthony Edwards spent a minute and change going after the referees. I saw this via Dane Moore's Twitter at Dane Moore NBA. Mm-hmm. I mean, it's the longest, greatest assault potentially of officials of any pro sport that I've ever seen.
He got fined after that, didn't he?
Well, I don't know. I was looking for the fine yesterday, but I got bored with it. But it was like he kept talking about how bad the officiating was in the Steph game, and he's like, the 2 dudes, not the lady. Then he starts complaining again. I'm talking about the 2 dudes, not the lady. So he identified who it was, but the way he was doing it caused me to hearken to Karl Anthony Towns earlier in his career, where he wouldn't complain like that after games, wouldn't drop all those F-bombs and stuff like that.
Right.
But he would complain during games about fouls so vociferously and childishly at times that it's abundantly clear, until he stopped that, it wasn't going to stop. Because these NBA officials, I mean, we start showing them up like that and stuff. Jordan rules, man, you ain't getting any calls. And yes, we are in charge of that. Well, Anthony complains loudly and the arms outstretched and slow to get back. And he's doing the same thing Cat did. And he has to know the more he does that and the louder he does it, the less chance he has to get what he wants.
And the less profane, too, because he's not afraid to use colorful language at any moment, at any time. I've been in the locker room with him after games, and you've got to work around his quotes sometimes with his interjecting. But I thought rock bottom was when they were 8-10. They had lost like 3 or 4 straight.
Yeah.
I think Sacramento was coming to town.
Yeah.
And the message out of the locker room was, enough's enough. We got to get our bleep together.
Yeah.
And I think they won 4 straight games after that. So I thought it stabilized then.
Well, that was the front runners bid, right? Where he got out there, we're front runners, that's me too, and that's kind of an I mean, that's a nasty way to call it, and it's truthful, but that we can't have a come to Jesus quote unquote meeting. If you have to have one of those every single week, then something's broken beyond repair potentially.
Right. And let's keep grounded here with this whole bit. We knew that when the trade was made that Karl Anthony Towns was the best player in that trade. So no one was ever thinking that Julius Randle was going to be able to cancel out everything that Karl Anthony Towns took with him to New York.
But there's DiVincenzo in the mix, too.
He's got off to a slow start. I think he's been playing better of late. And maybe, that was another bit, too. They were like, he can help initiate the offense for us. And maybe he shouldn't be doing that. He has not shot well. Well, at least the first 3 or 4 weeks of the season, he hasn't shot well. So he's had to kind of find his game as well. Mike Conley got off to a terrible start from the perimeter. So it's not clicking.
But the calling card with this team,
just defense,
was. I mean, this is a Western Conference Finals team from last year. Mm-hmm. I mean, to have conversations like this about the discombobulated nature of the way they're losing games, Superstar's reaction after the games about officials when he's not doing himself any favors by complaining as vociferously as he does. Mm-hmm. And they gave up some of the easiest baskets last night, right by the rim. I ain't looking for Robert Parrish, Bill Laimbeer. I'm not looking for Kurt Rambis, Kevin McHale, where you got to crush somebody and a fight starts. It's just, and then Randall start last night. He missed his first 3 shots. He had 3 turnovers in like the first 2.5 minutes. He was going to go up for a dunk. Somebody stood in front of him, and he threw up this ridiculous shot that didn't even hit rim. It went off the backboard. Atlanta goes the other way and scores. We just didn't see that stuff last year.
Now, I'm not trying to make this an indictment on Julius Randle, but it's been a little baffling. His rebound totals are definitely dropped off from a year ago. I think he's averaging like 3 or 4 fewer rebounds a game.
They had a big rebounding night last night.
There's been issues with his defense or footwork or whatever. I don't know if that's something they have to work around or work with or coach into him.
Mm-hmm. But Cat was never noteworthy for his defense.
No, exactly.
You know?
Exactly. But why does it look worse with Julius, though?
Well, it's not being in the locker room makes it difficult to, like, stab an answer. So I'm going to ride discernment, gut feeling. I said it yesterday. It's like you would see in press conferences in the postseason where they would win or lose a game, let's say win, and Edwards and Cat would do the bit together. And then Anthony would be like, well, yeah, we would have won by more points if this hadn't turned it over 5 times. And then they laugh, and Carl puts his head down like, yeah, probably went a little too far with that 5th turnover. But see, that byplay, that childlike friendship and give and take is important when it comes to cohesiveness. So I'm not saying Julius Randle's not coachable. I'm just gut feeling, thinking you go up to Julius Randle, try to joke like that after a loss or maybe a tight win, it ain't going to go the right way.
Yeah, different personalities, too. We just found out within the last couple of weeks that Cat's gift was, like, when things were bad in the locker room, he either would come in and say something self-deprecating or say something dumb or just say something weird.
Yeah.
But
Julius might not talk.
It threw everybody off to the point where it got everybody back together,
Yes.
So it worked.
Right.
So that...
For all the elbows flailing, for all the foul with which we've endured for many years, for every single thing, and I'm preaching to myself here, that would bug me about that man. Well, I find myself missing the quirky qualities of that man compared to, and I'm a Julius Randle fan. I have been all of his career. I know he can score. He's better off the dribble than Karl Anthony Towns. He's better off the pick and roll than Karl Anthony Towns. And I get the fact that, hey, if we're in a tight playoff game against anybody, and pick your poison here, you're going to double this guy, you're going to double that guy. I get that. Problem is, getting to that moment is looking problematic.
It is. I don't know if they need a week of practice or what. They need a break or whatever, but got to figure out. I got to imagine if Chris Finch is going to find a way through this and get this team
yes, sir.
To be the best version of itself. I do want to give fans credit for the love they showed Cat when
big time.
It was awesome.
Oh yeah.
When I was writing that column, it was
terrific.
I still remember vividly. I was at the hotel across from Target Center interviewing Miguel Sano for a Twins Fest story, and it was the day after Crunch had slid down the stairs on that sled and crashed into Karl Anthony Towns' dad and wrecked his knee.
Oh, wow.
So I'm interviewing Sano. We're sitting in the lobby. I look up. Here's the Cat. Here's his dad on crutches because he had just gotten crunched by Crunch. And I was like, man, that's rough, man. That's really rough. You see your old man go down like that.
Give us your best 30 seconds on your book, The Franchise, which now Christmas is tomorrow. So like purchasing it, via online and getting it for Christmas probably ain't going to happen. But there are stores that carry Franchise. And like Lavelle likes to remind us, he'll hang out on the corner of like 31st and Lake, and he has his trunk open even in the winter with a bunch of books back there. And if you'd like to buy one or get one, what do they do?
Well, people are going to wake up tomorrow in this area and go, doggone, I forgot to get Uncle Stanley a gift.
Jeez.
Well, it'd be easy just to go on BarnesandNoble.com or Amazon.com and look for The Franchise, a curated history of the Minnesota Twins, written by yours truly. Still available, and local books and local private booksellers also have it in stock as well. So I keep getting positive feedback. I had a book signing on Saturday at the Bloomington Armory, which is there's a sports card group in town. They have a monthly gathering to trade cards at the Bloomington Armory. And it's over the course of 3-4 hours, it's like a couple hundred people roll through there. I was impressed.
Yeah.
And they had all kinds of cards, memorabilia. Some dude showed me a golden gopher helmet that you took the top off and poured chips into, but the face mask was for dip. He was all fired up to get it. And I was there with a table selling books and talking baseball and trying to solve the Twins' problems.
Yeah.
So it's a great bit there at the Bloomington Armory once a month, but still available. And yes, I still have some books in my vehicle. So if you happen to see me and need a book, I'll be out and about today. So if you still want to get that last second present, go for it.
Merry Christmas to you, your sister Leslie, and your brother Larry. God bless all of you, and thanks for coming by.
Thank you. This has been the best well-run show I've ever been a part of.
I appreciate that.
Merry Christmas, man.
It's live,
Same to you.
It's live and local from the Vikings facility on KFAN.
You wake up, put on your Ray-Ban Meta glasses. You're living all in. You realize you need coffee. So you say,
Hey, Meta, how do I make a latte?
Brew 2 shots of espresso.
after Meta AI gets you caffeinated, you're ready for some beats.
Hey, Meta, play hip-hop music.
You head to meet some friends, but can't remember the place.
Hey, Meta, call Eva.
Ray-Ban Meta glasses, the next generation of AI glasses. Just say, hey, Meta, to harness the power of Meta AI. Shop now at meta.com/smartglasses.
Light up your holidays with Vizio's 65-inch Quantum Smart TV, now just $449.99 at Target. Immerse yourself in a world of over 1 billion vibrant colors with quantum dot technology. Plus, wide viewing angle ensures everyone gets the perfect view during movie marathons, no matter where they sit. Stream your favorite festive songs from North Pole Radio using the built-in iHeartRadio app. But hurry, this deal won't last much longer. Give the gift of entertainment and get your Vizio 65-inch Quantum Smart TV for just $449.99 at Target today.
Can't be home for the game?
Caught for the touchdown!
NFL Plus has you covered with live, local, and primetime games on the go.
What a game he's had.
On your mobile device, you can access live, local Sunday afternoon games and all the primetime action from Thursday Night Football, Sunday Night Football, and Monday Night Football.
Tonight was definitely their night.
Sign up for NFL Plus today at plus.nfl.com. Subscription required for NFL Plus. Terms and conditions apply.